set up my panels to the reference of what he's got. And those blank spots, the dark spots there, I'm going to use those to make it feel completely open. That's why there are no white borders in there. I'm going to use the darkness to make it feel open and give it like a dark, scary, moody, overwhelmed feeling, because in this page, page reference, turn off the panels, turn off the trim. In this page, Heroica gets on the ship, floats around, he's kind of poking around. Hey, I'm inside the ship, what's going on in here? He finds some stuff, and then he winds up getting attacked by almost an army-size element of troops. So you need to feel overwhelmed visually. So that's why I took my panels and I sketched all this stuff. See, he gets on the ship and floats around and finds this big door, and then he blows the door open and he's inside and he sees all the troops, and then he turns around real quick. That's what this is, this little element right here is him turning around. Go to my sketch layer. Hold on. Okay. Ooh, did I select the white? No. Select orange. I use orange because it's visually distinct. You can see it aside from everything else. I mean, orange really stands out unless you work on a citrus farm. So the cape will go over here. And what happens is the visual element of the cape going from the edge of this panel here into here, and then his head turning around and looking that way, that's going to visually lead you to look over his shoulder and see all of these dudes here, right? And then darkness will fade here. Put some of those pods that everybody was in right there. So the open space and these guys cramped around, and that's just going to scare the crap out of you. You're going to feel like he's overwhelmed. I need to kind of sum that up. So what I do is I make you feel even more cramped in, because you see the back of this guy and you're like, oh, okay, so I guess there are a lot of people there. Okay. You get a hand here, and then you get the back of this dude here, and you're looking through the two of them. So you're like in a crowd and you're staring between them. This is a little bit of direction here. And so he's in the middle, and he's more or less like, all right, you guys want to fight? Let's fight. And somebody sneaks up behind him and grabs him. And it's like, I got you, buddy. But the way the script is written, it shows that he effortlessly counters this guy grabbing him. So what I've figured is, if this guy grabs him and he's quick enough, he can slip his arms up in here, and his arms are folded, right? And he's strong enough where if that guy grabs him and his arm is folded, he can shove him. So he just kind of extends his arms and shoves him, because he's Heroica and he's incredibly strong and powerful. Shoves this dude with everything he's got. Shove. So here we see this guy go flying. Whoa. Hands. The way we're going to do that is with a perspective shot. See, everything closer to the camera is going to be bigger, everything farther away is going to be smaller, but everything's going to be angled so that it goes from here to that corner. So it really gives you a sense of the distance. That is an editing mark, which tells me to move this guy from here to here. All right. Now the last panel, I forget what the last panel is, but I'm going to take a look. As other liquid men join in, Heroica punches the first attacker through his abdomen. Boom. Okay, so what I gotta do is I gotta show that he is about to whoop some butt. He's punching through people. That's a lot of strength, right? Boop. I'm gonna bounce back here and see if anybody's talking to me here. No, nobody's not talking. Hey, if you guys feel like you want to say some stuff, go right ahead. I was listening to a news channel and they were like, get your shit and burn it down. I love my wife. Yeah. But that's Massachusetts. China. Baker. It's like the little boy who cried wolf. Consistently. So I guess she is, my wife is at work and they're listening to the radio. And where we are in this part of New England, they're expecting snow. And depending upon where you are, the levels of snow are different. In New Hampshire, we're not really expected to get that much. You know, it may sound like a lot to other people who haven't experienced snow, but to anyone who's lived here, it's like, whatever, it's not that much snow. But she said she was listening to a Massachusetts station, and they were more or less saying, hey man, get your stuff and bunker down, it's going to be horrible. And I told her, yeah, but that's Massachusetts, you know, that's just the way the politicians around there act. It's like, the worst is coming, you know, prepare for the worst, the sky is falling. Okay, Chicken Little, chill out. You don't tell people that horrible things are going to happen, because that sets the tone. And what that does is it inspires fear. What you do is you say, this has the potential to happen. These are ways that you prepare yourself. I think that works better for people in any situation, because you give them the hope that it's not going to happen, but that it might happen. And if it does happen, don't worry. These are the steps you can use to counteract that. All right, but back to this panel, okay? Turn it off, take a look. He's going to punch these dudes through the torso. Now, if I zoom out, you know what? I'm going to close this down so that I have more space. But if I zoom out and I take a look at the way this flows, there's a lot going on here, but it's very dynamic, okay? You see this? Oh, this right here can be smaller. Boop. Boop. Okay, this right here. If I want to really show the size of the door or how things are going to work, I can just show him floating in the hallway. He's floating. Put him more towards the top of the panel and more centered forward. It's kind of a trick, because if he's floating, if he's up, where am I? Go back to my pen. If he is up, he's above the floor, right? And if he's above the floor, he's floating. Your mind just automatically believes that he's flying, because he's flying. You see it visually, but his placement in the panel leads you to believe that he's off the floor. He's not on what your mind perceives as the grounded floor. And then since he's forward, he's leading your eye to the next panel. He makes you kind of look towards the next panel. There's a sense of movement in him not moving. Oh, come on, man. So we're going to go here, delete those sketch lines. So in this next panel, he's looking up at the door. I could probably make him a little smaller. Okay. Boop. Because the smaller I make him, the larger the door appears. And if I put him barely floating, up and down, things I love about this program is that I can do this stuff and I can make sure that my layouts are what I need them to be. And if I make a mistake when I ink, I can move things around, I can resize it. I love this program. All right, so here he blows the door open. I'm going to have to do a little bit of research and see what works best as far as doors being kicked in and the dynamics of that. So I like to imply a lot of energy. But that's great. I love the way this shot is because it's